So waterfront has been a big topic in Lagos in the past 2 years, starting with when Landmark launched the Beachfront Park and Gardens phase 1 and 2. Then we had so much beachfront in Ibeju-Lekki, then Lagoon-front, and most recently we've got Ikoyi Beach City, we've got Ambience Foreshore, and so many other waterfront properties. But I've realized that a lot of investors don't even understand which of the fronts their property is facing. All right, so we have Beachfront, we have Lagoon-front, and we have Lakeview or Lakefront or any lake, whatever you call it. So we have properties that are facing the beach, Atlantic Ocean. We have properties that are facing the lagoon, and we also have properties that are facing the lake. Now again, the kind of water body your investment or your property is facing also has a big say in the kind of purpose and return on investment you can use that property for. So in this episode of Meet the Property Guy, we'll be talking about beachfront, Lagoon-front, and Lakeview properties here in Lagos, the differences, the return on investment, and the different purpose and objective you can use this property for. Now, in case you are coming across a video like this for the first time, this is Meet the Property channel, and this one is because everything real estate for first-time investors, avid investors, or people that just want to learn about the market first before they now start putting in their money. We share tips, guides, and advices on everything you need to understand, really. So, regardless of anywhere you are globally, and you want to understand the real estate market here, want to understand the housing market here, want to understand the real estate investment here, trust me, this channel is your #1 go-to guide. So after all this particular video, we have playlists on the Ibeju-Lekki, playlists on Ekpe, which are the new Lagos, playlists on Lekki, Aja, the Lagos mainland, playlists on property titles, playlists on everything you need to know about real estate developers and real estate companies here in Lagos. So you also want to watch all these other playlists. Now, if you have been watching our videos also and you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do. These are also one of the ways you can support us, the guides, the tips, the free advices that we are sharing here. One of the ways you can support us is also to subscribe to our channel, because I really want to hit a 2K subscriber by the end of the year. So kindly do subscribe and also turn on the notification button. So let's go into the topic of the day: beachfront, Lagoon-front, Lakeview properties here in Lagos. Which one is the best? Which one is better? Which one should we invest? Now, we have a couple of beachfront properties here in Lagos. Some are sold out, some are still selling. We had beachfront 1 and 2 selling at Eleko by Landmark. Then the Eleko company also went to Eleko and launched beachfront anyway. So then we have Ikoyi Beach City by Gidi properties currently selling at Ibeju. Then we also have is there any other beachfront? Yeah, we have Opulence by Chris Homes also selling beachfront, and then P1 has some beachfront selling after La Campagne Tropicana. All right, so then for Lagoon-front, we have the Lagoon-front estate by Landmark, and okay, Panche Villa is also a beachfront. Panche Villa by Landmark is also a beachfront. Seems like Landmark like waterfront. So Landmark has Lagoon-front facing the lagoon, not the Atlantic Ocean, facing the Lagoon-front estate. And then which other property? We have Dominion Foreshore. Dominion Foreshore is also facing the lagoon, not the Atlantic Ocean, lagoon. Then we have Isimi also have a waterfront facing the lagoon also, not Atlantic Ocean, facing lagoon. All right, so then for Lakeview, we have a couple of estates that have artificial lakes or natural lakes. We have Ambience Foreshore. Ambience Foreshore in Ikorodu has a lake view. And then we have Itunu City said they're going to have a lake view also. And a couple of other estates also are also advertising that they're going to have a lake view. Okay, this estate by Landway, Westwood Park also has a lake view. Also. So now we need to understand what exact body that particular estate, that particular property is facing. Is it facing the lagoon? Is it facing the beach? Or is it facing the lake? Because all these comes with their pros and cons. Now, for a property that is facing the beach, like beachfront is not really like facing the beach anyway. Still a couple of distance, but at least its beachfront is close to the beach. Metro Bay also, okay, they say that one too is close to the beach. I've not been there anyway. So Metro Bay and then some other properties around Ikorodu, that people are advertising are, okay, Vopno also have this property that is also facing the beach, Ocean View, Vopno Ocean View City. Yeah, facing the beach. Down so is at Ibeju-Lekki side also. So all these properties that are facing the beach, is very important you know the distance it is to the beach, and that's because of global warming. A lot of these beaches and the ocean is extending more and more inland. So the Lagos State government are having very strict regulation on the distance that residential buildings must be to the ocean, particularly the ocean, because global warming is real, is very, very real. So Beachfront Park and Gardens at Ikoyi is fantastic because it's quite distant to the beach. It's not even close to the beach direct, so it's quite distant to the beach. Fantastic. Metro Bay too, from the videos, is quite distant to the beach too. Panche Villa, I've not been there, so I don't know how distant it is to the beach, but you really want your property to be as distant to the beach as possible because the global warming is very, very low. So some certain kilometers to the beach, the Lagos State government are only going to approve temporary structures. So which means that what you are going to be building will either be by container, like container buildings, container houses, or by plank houses, so that in case in the future the ocean starts eroding inland, you know that okay, you can move your building or just like demolish it. But if your building is as far away from the beach as possible, then you can have a permanent structure, do bricks and mortar, and do your building there. So it's quite very important. You want to know the distance to the beach that particular estate or that particular property is very, very important. Now, the beachfront properties, which are the properties facing the beach, are the most luxurious. Or the coastline, or the Atlantic Ocean coastline around Oniru, around Ikate, down to VI, they are very, very premium. Very premium resorts are there, very premium hotels are there. That's why you have Landmark Hotel and Landmark Beach, Oniru Beach, Elegushi Beach. All these places are very, very premium places, and because the ambiance is fantastic. Now, again, beachfront, lagoon-front properties are fantastic for hospitality. So if you are looking at an investment, you want to build a hotel, you want to build a guest in, a vacation lounge, a spa, a relaxation place, so a short stay place for maybe people that are on tour, that are on vacation, then you can have it facing the beach or facing the lagoon, because people like the ambience, the cool atmosphere, the relaxation factor that a water view is going to give you. It makes a lot of sense. Now for Lagoon-front is not really as dangerous as Atlantic Ocean in terms of like erosion and all those. So for most property, even there are some properties like that are just sharing fence with the lagoon, like people build down to the lagoon, sharing fence with it. So although the Lagos State government also have the regulation in terms of how many meters you must be away from the water body, but trust me, a lot of developers don't follow it. So but Lagoon-front is less risky than those that are facing the Atlantic Ocean. So I've got a couple of contacts that have complained that they bought a waterfront property and it's not directly facing the lagoon or directly facing the water. It's possible. The waterfront doesn't mean that you are going to have a direct water access or a direct water view. If you are 3 plots away from the water, you are still a waterfront. If you are 2 plots away from the water, you are still a waterfront. So it's not like a must your plots must face the water. Even to be very frank, it's even good that your plots should not face the water, because sand filling, the rafts, and the other things that you must do there, and the permits. The Lagos State government will show you when when you want to do permits, you are going to go to like almost three different offices to get permits if your property is directly facing the water. So if your plot is 3 plots away to the water, 2 plots away to the water, you are still a waterfront. So don't pressure yourself too much. All right, so the Lagoon-front is also fantastic for hospitality too. You want to build a vacation vacation space, a guest inn, a hotel. You can also face the lagoon. The Oriental? Yeah, Oriental Hotel is facing the lagoon, and there's also so many hotels around the VI axis, Admiralty axis, that are facing the lagoon. So you have that cool ambience, water view also. You can also build it for your personal residence also. It doesn't matter. Or for short lets, you want to do premium short let, you can also build around the lagoon or around the lagoon front. But the lagoon front is not as premium as a property facing the Atlantic Ocean. Again, a lagoon front is not as environmentally risky as a property that is facing the Atlantic Ocean. All right, so lastly is Lakeview. We have Abia's foreshore that has a lake view, and then we have it's no city too. They say it will be having a lake view. There's also some properties, Capital Gardens. We also have come with a lake, Westwood Park Lake. This property by FKC also, Peak Resort and Golf also has some natural lakes there too. So the lake is also fantastic. But one thing you need to understand about lake is a water that is surrounded by land. That water is not flowing to anywhere. So the companies must have a very good plan on maintenance. For now, they want to maintain that water. Because if that water is not adequately maintained, it can attract some very dangerous animals, and also that water can also start smelling because it's not really flowing. It's not like it's flowing into one particular stream, or flowing inside one canal, or flowing inside one river. So that's one thing about Lakeview. But Lakeviews are always very fantastic. It gives an estate a very nice view. Everyone have seen what Blackwell Lakes they did with their lakes there, but they are maintaining it very well. So you want to look at the company that has that project. Can they maintain this lake? If they can't maintain it, it will become an environmental hazard. So it has to be well maintained. The greenery around it, the water there has to be treated. They have to fumigate properly, just to ensure that it doesn't start smelling, doesn't start attracting reptiles, and doesn't become a dangerous spot in the estate. So, but there are some very nice estates. There's this beautiful estate in Orchid, Lakeview, Lakeview Park 2. They have a very nice lake there too. So it's fantastic. Also, if you have you invest in a property with a lake view, the ambience for sure is also fantastic with a very nice lake view also is fantastic. But Lagoon-front and Beachfront first before Lakeview. So that's it. So if you are investing, you need to also look at your purpose, what your objective. You want to invest for your personal residence, Lakeview makes sense. You want to invest for investments, for commercial, Lagoon-front makes sense. Beachfront also makes sense. But for Beachfront, you want to be as farther away as possible from the ocean. Trust me, you want to be as farther away as possible to the ocean. But for Lagoon-front, you can still risk it as much as possible, as long as you can do solid foundation. A lot of the property, a lot of the waterfront in Banana Island and Ikoyi, you are going to be seeing the lagoon like this from your compound. All right, so these are the different investment channels, investment opportunities around the beachfront in Lagos, around the Lagoon-front in Lagos, and also around the Lakeview properties here in Lagos. So if there's any of these properties that you are looking at investing, I want to find out more about the company, the developers. There is Ambiance Foreshore, Westwood Parks, Ituno City, Isimi, Dominion Foreshore. Dominion Foreshore is just directly facing the lagoon. Lagoon-front Estate by Landmark. You can definitely reach out, you can drop a comment, you can reach me directly on WhatsApp, and I can advise you more about what you can do there, how you can get return on that investment, and also what the property maturity in that location looks like. So as even property as a planner, property advisor, property consultant, Rabi Mustafa. Thanks once again for watching our videos. Thanks once again for our time, and see you next time.